My parents stole my college fund to save my brother. Now they want my millions. Hello? My name is Mia. I'm 29, and I'm the founder of Syncor, a tech company that's become my family. This is the story of how I was erased and how I built an empire from the ashes. 10 years ago, I disappeared. No letter, no farewell, just a backpack and a one-way bus ticket to oblivion. My family didn't just betray me. They shattered me. They traded my dreams to save their chosen son. Now they're back sniffing around the empire I built from ashes, wanting a cut. I was 18 when I realized I was a ghost in my own home. In a dusty Georgia town, I lived in the shadow of my older brother, Caleb, 4 years older with a grin that could sell ice in a blizzard. Caleb was the star my parents worshipped. Me, I was the kid pulling straight A's, scrubbing dishes at a local barbecue joint, and hoarding every cent for college. To them, I was just there. When Caleb was 15, he got a sleek new Jeep. I got his old bike, chain rusty, tires flat. Caleb's soccer matches were family crusades. My parents would scream like he was headed for the World Cup. My band's victories? A half-hearted nice work while my dad checked Caleb's Snapchat. It wasn't the gifts or the cheers that gutted me. It was the free passes.
Caleb started slipping in middle school.
Cutting class, swiping beer from my dad's fridge, and getting caught with vape pens at school. He's just spirited, my mom would coo, like he was some misunderstood poet. Kids need to test limits, my dad would mutter, signing another check for Caleb's chaos. Me? I left dishes in the sink once and lost my phone for 2 weeks. By high school, Caleb was a walking catastrophe. He didn't just get busted for graffiti. He defaced the town library, spray painting crude slogans across its walls, then bragging about it on TikTok. It cost my mom $12,000 to hush it up. Then came a bonfire party at our house while our parents were at a funeral. Cops rolled up to find teens passed out on our lawn and a neighbor's shed burned down. Another $18,000? Caleb didn't even get a grounding. Meanwhile, I was killing myself. My nights spent collapsing on my mattress, reeking of barbecue sauce, counting tips, and dreaming of an engineering degree. My aunt had left me a savings account of $20,000, my lifeline. With scholarships, it was enough for a solid state school. Enough for escape. April of my senior year, I had just been accepted to college with a half-ride scholarship. My name on the letter like a vow. I came home from the barbecue joint, apron still tied, to find them waiting. My mom, my dad, and Caleb. The kitchen stank of burnt toast and despair. Caleb looked like death. Pale, twitching, fresh off his 4th drug bust. This time he'd been caught dealing at a gas station. Felony charges. We need to talk, my dad said, his voice like gravel. Caleb's in deep, real deep. The lawyer's $24,000? My mom whispered, her eyes wet. We don't have it. My stomach dropped. I knew, but I begged the universe to be wrong. Your savings, my dad said, staring at the floor. We need it just for now. We'll replace it. Caleb slumped like a broken puppet, muttered, "Come on, bro, I'm facing Z. You're smart. You'll figure out school." I stared at this stranger, my blood, who had bled our family dry, who never once apologized. "No," I said, my voice cracking. "That's my future." My mom's face contorted. "How can you be so heartless?" She hissed, "Your brother needs you." I looked to my dad, pleading for a shred of reason. He just shrugged. "You'll make it work. You always do." The next morning, my mom emptied my account. $20,000 gone in a wire transfer. My dreams, my aunt's sacrifice, my years of hustle, handed to Caleb's latest mess. I went to my counselor that afternoon and said I couldn't go to college. "Personal crisis," I mumbled. She looked crushed, but I couldn't face her. That night, I packed one backpack with $800 in savings. I left my house key on the counter and slipped out while Caleb scrolled his phone. Oblivious. "Thanks, man," he called, his eyes glued to the screen. I didn't reply. Miami was my refuge, but it was no paradise. I slept in a $600 hatchback that rattled like a dying beast. I crashed on couches that smelled of mildew and broken dreams. I took jobs that broke my spirit. Line cook, bike courier, valet for rich kids who tipped in loose change. Hitting bottom at 18 lit a fire. I spent nights in a library teaching myself to code. CSS, Java, whatever I could find free online. My hands cramped, my vision blurred from tutorials. 9 months in, I snagged a tech support gig at a startup. $32,000 a year felt like millions. I absorbed everything, code, strategy, and grit. When their only programmer bailed, I jumped in. Nights, weekends, no rest, just me wrestling a code base like it was a feral dog. At 20, I was head of tech for a 40-person outfit. The startup tanked, but I didn't. I landed a better gig, then another. By 23, I spotted a hole in the market, tools for remote teams that didn't suck. I quit, lived on instant noodles, and built Syncor, a platform to fuse coding, project tracking, and real-time teamwork. My prototype was clunky, but it delivered. I hounded every coder I knew to test it. A month later, 400 users. 6 months, 6,000. By 2020, the pandemic hit, and Syncor blew up. 250,000 users and $4 million in funding. By 2022, my company was valued at $600 million. Me, the kid who lost it all, was worth $300 million on paper. Last month, my past stormed back. I was in my office, marble floors and awards glinting, when my assistant said, "Your dad's calling." 9 years, no calls, no texts. I had walled off my life, but a Wired article tore it down. 29 under 30. The runaway who rewrote remote work. They saw my wealth, my name, and I was suddenly their son again. I dodged their calls for a week, my mom, my dad, and Caleb. Then they showed up. My office door swung open, and there they were, aged and desperate. My mom was in a thrift store blouse. My dad was hobbling from a car accident. Caleb looked like he'd crawled out of a dive bar. They stared at my office like it was a mirage. "We're so proud," my mom choked out, her voice shaky. "Proud?" I laughed, cold and jagged. "You didn't know I existed until Wired said I was loaded." "We searched for you," my dad said. 3 months. Hired a guy. 3 months? I snapped. "You gave up on me faster than you saved Caleb." Caleb bristled. "We're family, bro. We're here to fix things." "Fix things?" I leaned in, my voice like steel. "Or cash out? What's the price tag this time? Another bust?" "Hospital bills, loan sharks." Silence. Then my dad muttered, 800,000 car accident bills. The mortgage. Caleb's latest charge. I laughed, but it burned. $800,000, that's nothing to me now. But 20,000? That was my world at 18, and you threw it away. My mom sobbed. "We love you. We messed up, but we love you." "Love?" I stood, my voice breaking. "You loved Caleb's wreckage more than my future. You picked him every time. Now I'm your bank." Caleb lunged forward. "You're a cold-blooded jerk. You know that? You let us sink to prove a point." I didn't blink. I was sinking at 18. Caleb, sleeping in my car, scraping by while you got high. Where was my lifeline? I could have written the check. I could have cleared their debts, their mortgage, their failures. But I didn't. Money doesn't buy loyalty. Forgiveness doesn't mean erasing scars. I told them to go. My mom turned back, tears falling, and whispered, "I hope you'll forgive us one day." "Already have," I said. "But I don't owe you my soul." They're gone now. Caleb's locked up again, another bust, another lie. My dad's losing the house. My mom's emailing, "Please." I delete them unread. My cousins call me cruel. But they never saw me coding in a library at 2 a.m. Starving but stubborn, forging a life from nothing. I'm free now, free from their chains, their choices, their poison. Syncor is my family, the one I created, the one that values me. But late at night I wonder, what does family really mean? To love without strings. If you've ever had to cut ties to survive, what did you lose? What did you build?